Hello and welcome. My name is JesseMcDesign. Today we're going to be turning a plastic skeleton into a Gothic nature lamp. Let's get started. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you to hit the like button and subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later, but it really helps me out. You can also go back, and if you didn't see the last week's video, it was on making this lampshade here. And this week we're going to continue that project by finishing off the skeleton light stand. As you can see, it's going to be like a planner type deal. I think, yeah, you can see the base here. It's just a big planner that I shoved with planter foam. It's like that weird crumbly type stuff you can just stick fake plants into and whatnot. That's the only thing I really got done so far. I also drilled a quick hole in the bottom of the skeleton and the top, just so I can stick this dowel rod in it to give it a little bit more height, since it will be like a floor lamp type deal in the end. But I went ahead and bought some vines just to kind of, well, at the very end, you know, drape these throughout the thing and make it look real nice. I don't really want to go with flowers really. I want to keep it more green and just, you know, wildlife looking. Maybe it would be something that was decaying in the forest or something. But I also got some of these ferns. I think I might end up getting a little more of this darker green one. I'm not sure. There you go. I like this one a lot more, but these are nice just to fill up space. I'm going to try and make this pretty big and lush looking. So I don't know if I have enough. Again, I might have to go pick up some last minute things to really fill this out like I want to. Also, just to add to the little weird creepiness, I got these dried lotus flower pods. I'm pretty sure that's what these are, lotus flowers. And I just like the way they look, this weird holes that are kind of weird and creepy. I also got this little like a moss bunch that I'll end up breaking and piecing it here and there to make it look real nice. And then I also got some of this red bit. I might add that in there just to give it a little pop of color. I'm not really certain on that yet. I might keep it just all black and white with the greenness, but we'll see when we get there. I also got these, I'm not really sure what these are, like little cotton sprouts or something, but just to keep that white, and I want to be able to, you know, these stick up pretty nice, so I think that'll look really good. And then I got a couple little danglies that we might drape over the edge to make it flowing out and everything. But again, that's all the very end was that what we'll do with all of that stuff. I also got some extra bones from this thing. It was a full skeleton. I used some of it for different projects, but I have some of the leg bones, and we'll have to go in and just touch up some of these holes from screws and hardware and all that to make it look a little more real on at least the one end, since the other end will be down in the shrubbery and all that. You won't really see the bottom. I'm not really worried about that. So we'll touch up those pieces. And again, here's some little ones, and they have a couple little screw holes there we'll have to touch up really quick, which won't be a big deal. It's super. And then finally, to make this thing work, we got ourselves a light kit. I'm pretty sure that's what this is called. It's basically just a socket, and then it goes into a plug normally, and it has a little switch on it to make it turn on, obviously. That's gonna be kind of iffy making it work. We'll have to secure this to the dowel rod on the top somehow and make sure the light bulb still fits in there to be able to change it and everything. So that's one thing that'll be a little iffy, but it won't be too bad once they get there. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna cut a piece off the end of this. I already measured it out and kind of figured out what I need to do, that we're gonna end up putting on the top of this to create our extender that will hold the lampshade itself. If you've ever worked with like a lamp or anything, you'll know that the top is normally has like this little kind of like a washer type deal, but a little bit bigger, that holds the lampshade in place. So what we're gonna have to do is, after we cut this, I already got a bolt that'll fit in there real nice, and I'm just gonna super glue a bolt to the end of the dowel rod It doesn't, because it doesn't really need to be super strong. I think it'll be plenty fine. I'm gonna really glue it on there real nice, and that's what's gonna create the post that we will eventually attach our socket to as well, and then we'll just run the cord down the back side of this and secure it in place, kind of secretly, so you don't really see anything going on. At the very end, we're gonna create a wash and kind of make this look a little bit dirtier as well, along with some of the plants and the base of this thing as well. So there's that little piece. Simply just glued it on, and I have an accelerator spray that cures it really fast. So I glued it on there normally, and then I put a nice ring around the edge. So I'm pretty sure that'll be plenty fine for what we got going on. All right, so now that we got that all together, I actually just want to put this lampshade on just to make sure it's where I'm thinking it's supposed to be. And I'm pretty happy with that. I like the height as well. It's not super tall, but I mean, if you're sitting down, it's plenty high to be still coming down on top of you. But as you can see, that puts a lot of weight on this thing and makes it lean all crazy. So what I'm gonna do now is chop up some of this foam and just shove it down in here and see if I can't keep this in place a little bit nicer, so we don't have all that wobble going on. And I just took a chunk of this foam, and I'm just gonna cut like a couple little wedges out of it and see if that won't work. And so that worked out pretty well. It's in there pretty securely now. I have it at a nice angle where when I put the lampshade on, it's not gonna lean too far. It's kind of weird because the, you know, a spine isn't straight, and I have these dowel rods in there as best as I can to adjust for all that and make sure the skeleton's fairly straight as well. So it's kind of tricky, but I think I got it. There's still some cracks in the base of this foam here. So what I'm gonna do now is take some of this polyfill and just kind of fill those cracks just to help secure that base a little bit more. I don't want to like glue it in or anything, because in case I want to redo this or anything in the future, I can just simply take it all apart. Just making it a little more natural. I do like how that looks. Who knows, we might take it out, we might not. I'll probably, when we do the wash on all this and try to make it look a little more realistic and a little bit weathered, I'll probably spray this down and give it a nice darker color rather than have this white. So what I think we're gonna do next is figure out this whole light ordeal. It is kind of the main thing we got going on for this thing. And I didn't pick this up, I have this. It's just the normal light bulb. I'll probably end up swapping it out because I don't like the bright white that this is. I like a softer yellowish light. But this will help us make sure that this is all gonna work out, because as you can't see, as you can kind of see here, the bulb wants to hit that post. And that's why lamps are made the way they are. It's kind of my fault. I knew this was going to be a thing. But I think if we just simply put it on the side, I think that'll work just fine. Just to make sure. Put this on here and try to figure out. I think somewhere in there will be just fine. We'll just have to, I'm going to mark this so I don't have to figure this out again. So this might be a little trickier than I was expecting, but I think I can at least slightly tape it in place, and then we'll put some super glue on there and glue it, and then we'll, I think, tape it some more, and I think that'll work just fine. I knew it wasn't going to be the best trying to figure this out, but you got to work with what you got. got it taped on there pretty well. I did a couple squirts of glue down in there as well. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere really. Yeah, it's definitely on there. Taking it off might kind of suck, it'll just have some cleanup to do, but I don't think I'm ever gonna really undo this that severely. But what we got to do now is actually, I have some super thin string and I'm just gonna run the wire to this thing down the back of the spine, which will hide it perfectly because this will be normally up against the wall at least a little bit, so you will never really see it. And then I'm gonna run it down the back of this bottom couple inches of dowel rod as well. And then I think I'm going to cut a slit in the back of this, the first couple inches, so I can run this down and then out the back so you don't really see it creating a weird thing over the edge. Even though, again, you'll never see it with all the plants and everything in here either anyway. So let's just get to that and then we'll see how it looks. So what we're gonna do next, this is coming together quite quickly, which is always a good thing, but we're gonna cover the bottom of this so we don't see any more of this white fluffiness with some of this moss. And then we're gonna go on to cleaning up these bones, which is gonna be super simple. I had some of this modeling foam. It's air dry and it's fairly quick. So we're gonna do this first actually, so that this has a little bit extra time to dry, and then we'll come back and start working out some of these leaves and all this foliage in case we do have to go get more. Like I said in the beginning, it's about that time. They should be opening pretty soon, so it's pretty perfect. And then we'll get to the final stages of weathering everything down. We are on to the very last thing here. I'm loving how lush this really looks. I did have to go run to the store and pick up a couple more of these fern things, which is totally fine, but it does add to the cost of this. These fake plants are crazy money if you've never purchased a couple, you know, quite a few of them. The very last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a dark muddy wash. And what that's gonna do is help dull down some of the shininess on these plastic leaves and on the skeleton itself. And hopefully that'll make it just that little more realistic. We'll maybe even put a couple of sprays onto the lampshade itself to make that look a little bit older than, so it doesn't look off from everything else. But what we're gonna do to do that is, I have a simple spray bottle filled a little bit with water. You don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way with this kind of thing. And what we're gonna do is take some acrylic paints and just kind of put it in here, and we'll do like a nice shake to mix it up. And you don't want to do a lot. You'll want to put some black, some brown, and a little bit of yellow. That really makes like a nice muddy, rusty kind of color. And then we'll just simply spray it on. We'll mist it on a little bit. We'll really drench it on some spots and let it settle in nice. We might even take a paper towel and dab some of those spots. If it gets too much, you can, while it's still wet, you can kind of wipe it off really quick. Before we do jump into the final piece itself, since it's basically done, I'm gonna take one of my little plastic pumpkins I have laying around, and I'm gonna do a quick couple of squirts on that just to make sure I'm happy with how I like the wash and it's not too dark or too light. And we'll go from there, and then we'll get you those final shots. Alright, so there you have it. Super happy with how it came out. It doesn't normally sit this high. It's on a little chest thing that I have over here. I don't really have space to set it on the ground properly right now. So it would normally be down to a little bit more normal height. But I'm super happy with how it came out. If you didn't see last week's video, I made the lampshade itself, which was a whole project, but that came out super good and it looks great with all of this. I might do a little bit of painting to this planner base, but it's fine how it is now. I might do like black with a little bit of white wash to kind of match the lampshade a little bit better. But other than that, again, super happy with how it came out. I do love all these plants. It definitely looks nice and full, like it's a real deal type thing going on here. One thing I might add later on is maybe some like Christmas lights type deal, or like little LEDs down in the plants itself, and maybe up through the chest of the skeleton here, but who knows. And then it obviously works. It's great. I love it. The bulb I had and just had to put in there for now is very bright and very white. It's not my favorite. I will eventually change that out for a slightly duller, more natural, warmer bulb, which I think will look a lot nicer in this. But if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. It really helps. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe. I'm always over here making some sort of creative thing, furniture, decor, art, who knows? Leave in the comments below what I should build next. See you on the next one.